Hollywood Boulevard has always been a street of dreams, the main road through a place built on the stuff dreams are made of: beauty, wealth, and fame. Once it was a symbol of all that, with its glamorous night spots, starry premieres, and of course,
the world's famous intersection of Hollywood and Vine. In early Hollywood days, it was the main intersection, and it was a busy place.
And in a sad way, it still is.
It is just, you know, rampant with runaway kids, boozers, homeless, God bless them. And also, the real estate has gone downhill rapidly. Closed up stores, brassiere shops, souvenirs, hot dog stands.
It's true, Gable and Lombard wouldn't recognize the place, but there are still stars on the boulevard.
You can see all the stars as you walk down Hollywood Boulevard. Some that you recognize, some that you hardly even heard of.
The Walk of Fame is where you see the stars, and there are 2,500 on that walk.
There they are, enshrined in pink marble, going up and down the boulevard. Who's the biggest star you've seen here on the sidewalk?
Well, I think there's many big stars here. Tom Cruise, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Fred Astaire, they're all here.
So are all the tourists, more than 9 million a year, who come looking for stardust and getting just dust.
You know, I was walking up and down this, and I said, I'm gonna have my name on one of those stars. Can't be that hard. I mean, there's people that you don't know, there's people that I don't know. I mean, how hard can it be?
Well, not as hard as you might think. If you guess, as most do, that the stars on the sidewalk are strictly awards of merit, like an Oscar, a Grammy, or an Emmy, guess again.
You know, let's be honest, it's a tourist attraction. And that's as simple, that's it.
Johnny Grant, he's the guy you always see next to whoever is getting their star.
Was that the first joke you did when you were 14 years old?
Once a local TV personality, he's now a full-time cheerleader for Hollywood. He's the honorary mayor.
Hollywood, I love it.
And the most influential member of its Chamber of Commerce, which controls who gets a star on the Walk of Fame. By the way, all of Grant's positions are unpaid. How do you qualify to get on the Walk of Fame?
Well, you have to be nominated. We don't just sit around and say, let's honor old Judd with a star today.
Who nominates these people?
Okay, anybody. It can be the press agent, it can be a spouse or a fan.
Could be, but the fact is, it's almost always the publicist. Veteran Hollywood PR man Dale Olson explains.
People, if they have a publicist, are going to go to their publicist and say, hey, I think it's time for me to have a star on the Walk of Fame. Can you do that? In some instances, perhaps a publicist can. In some instances, a studio can as a promotion for a picture.
Last month, rock star Phil Collins got his star just before the opening of Tarzan, for which he did several songs.
If I could just get my name on one of these.
Nick Cage did last July, just as his film Snake Eyes opened. Also last year, Jamie Lee Curtis was put on the pavement when Halloween H2O debuted. LA Times columnist Pat Morrison.
It is no coincidence, given that this is a commercial enterprise, that some of these selections are timed to the release of movies. People who come here think this walk represents the ne plus ultra of Hollywood, and it's something else altogether, which is commerce, that it is not about art. It has to do with the money-making process.
Anything that happens in Hollywood is hype. It's publicity, and most people want to do their ceremony when they have a project to promote.
Let me tick off a short list of people who are on the Walk of Fame. Pee Wee Herman, Rin Tin Tin, the dog star, DJ J. Thomas, Lisa Gibbons, John Tesh. Some people look at this kind of a list and say, by putting people like that on the Walk of Fame, you diminish its value.
Well, Rin Tin Tin saved Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but Lisa Gibbons, John Tesh?
I tell you the way I can answer it, they got the votes.
Okay, so who votes? Well, he does. He's chairman of a 5-member panel whose names have, over the years, been a tightly kept secret. Then, earlier this year, Grant held a news conference and named the other 4, all of them low-profile entertainment executives.
So there's our committee, ladies and gentlemen. It is no longer a secret, not that it has really mattered ever.
So why reveal it now? Grant admits he was prompted by our reporting.
It was after our conversation that I just sat down and said, hey, it's time to do it. This is an archaic rule that I inherited.
Ah, yes, the rules. Well, first, the star being honored has to show up at the installation ceremony, and someone has to pay $15,000 for it. Still, Grant insists the stars aren't for sale.
I guarantee you this, we send back a lot of checks from people that send them in saying, here's the money for my star, when can we do it? Right back.
Why?
They have to be approved. You have to get that approval.
To do that, you have to qualify in one of 5 areas: movies, TV, radio, records, or live performance. Only one person has a star for all 5, singing cowboy Gene Autry, who, by the way, owned the TV station where Johnny Grant worked for years. Autry's 5th star came after Grant became chairman of the Walk of Fame committee.
Bob Hope has 4, Frank Sinatra has 3, but Gene Autry has 5 out of 5.
I told you it wasn't a Pulitzer Prize, didn't I?
Here is a press release by your Chamber of Commerce here. The Walk of Fame says is a tribute as coveted and sought after as the Oscar, the Emmy, Grammy, Golden Mike, or Tony.
Well, let me ask, what is the Oscar? You tell me, Judd. You've covered them. I've seen you there. What is the Oscar?
You can't go to the Motion Picture Academy and say, here's $10,000, I'll show up, I'd like an Oscar.
Well, you can't do that with the Walk of Fame either.
In a sense, you can.
Well, that's your way of looking at it.
All right, let's look at another rule, Hollywood's unwritten one. Only the big names get in the best places.
This is a spot where everybody seems to want to be, right here in front of the Mann's Chinese Theater. Billy Crystal, there's Jack Nicholson back there.
Yeah, back there, next to Johnny Grant. On this, the best kept and most visited block on the boulevard. So many stars have been put here lately, there's almost no space left.
Where you get on the Walk of Fame is probably just as critical a decision as whether you're going to be there at all. Nobody wants to end up in front of the Pussycat Theater.
Indeed, a few blocks east of the Chinese Theater, in the tackier part of Hollywood, you find dirty sidewalks, damaged stars, or no stars at all. Grant blames the merchants here for their neighborhood's crack problem.
We go down to that end, and these are people who have come here from other parts of the world, bought a lot of T-shirts and all that crap, put them in a store, and then you come down there and they say, oh, you're ruining our business if you come down here and do a ceremony.
But you have to play fair with the property owners on the other end of the boulevard.
I don't have to do a damn thing, Judd.
Or does he? Grant runs the Hollywood Historic Trust, which has funds designated for the upkeep of the walk. Recently, after accusations the trust was misappropriating that money, the state attorney general investigated and found no wrongdoing. So, who is responsible for the sorry state of the walk? At first, Grant blamed subway construction on Hollywood Boulevard. A month later, he changed his story, claiming tree roots were pushing up and damaging the stars. And he announced a plan to
bring our Walk of Fame back to where it was, with all of its great luster and brilliance and brightness and respectability, whatever.
But while Johnny Grant has been busy making excuses and promises about the Walk of Fame, the rest of historic Hollywood is finally getting a long-needed facelift. Several grand old movie palaces here have recently been restored and reopened. And despite construction delays, work's underway on a new 3,500-seat home for the Oscars. But one old-time Hollywood fixture has no plans to change.
I'm the hype meister. I'm out there on that boulevard. That's my Broadway stage. That's the Palace Theater for me. When I'm out there giving that star away, I love it.
But strip away the hype, and the sad truth is that after all these years, Hollywood Boulevard is still just a street of dreams.